It is pride at stake as it is Manchester United versus Manchester City. The derby, the Manchester derby, isn't just another game. It's not like any other derby. It's not like the London derby. It supersedes all of that. It's a battle of supremacy. It's a battle for pride and momentum. I mean, with both teams vying for crucial points, the stakes couldn't be any higher. Manchester City in fifth, Man United in 13th, as always. Manchester United, under the guidance of Ruben Amorim, are eager to prove that they can go toe to toe, I mean, with noisy neighbors, as we all know. Meanwhile, Manchester City aim to maintain their dominance despite the key absences. I mean, who will rise to the occasion and seize the moment? Man City are not in consistent form, but when we look at the form guide for both teams, it reveals a lot. I mean, Manchester United have lost one of the last five games, drawing two and suffering a 1-0 defeat to Nottingham Forest when we're beginning to just have our momentum back. So it is something that we need to. And then in the most, I mean, this is basically in the most recent fixture. I mean, we need a statement performance to regain momentum. And why this is very important is because Man United have always done well against the top four or the big four. I mean, we're talking about Man City, Chelsea, Arsenal, and Liverpool. So we seem to have been doing well against them. We just have to fall short against Nottingham Forest. So basically, when it comes to Man City, they have won three of their last five games, drawing one and suffering a surprise defeat to Nottingham Forest, despite their dominance. Occasional vulnerabilities have also been exposed as time has elapsed with Man City. Now, we've played each other historically 193 times, and Manchester United and Man City share this rivalry, with City holding the edge in recent years, right? Man City have, been winning when it comes to head to head in recent years. United pulled off a stunning 2-1 victory in the last meeting at the Etihad. And the tactical duel between Amorim and Guardiola adds another fascinating subplot to this showdown. Is can Ruben Amorim get the best of Guardiola again after getting the best of him in Champions League, in in the and in the Premier League, in the Champions League with Sporting, and now in the Premier League? Can he get the best of Pep Guardiola again? Now, with regards to their, the last five games, as I said, the recent loss for Man United came against Forest, and then the wins. We've won two games before that, two games back to back, and then we've drawn two games back to back before that. Games wins coming against Leicester City and Real Sociedad. While for Man City, they've won one game. They've won three games, drawn one, and lost one in the last five. So it is not similar because Man City kind of have a momentum already going from their last three games being unbeaten. So now to how Manchester City play. Man City, the City game revolves around high pressure, high possession, with intricate passing and positional play, basically. Now, intricate passing, positional play, um, and they shift between more like a 4-3-3 and a 3-4-2-1, using inverted fullbacks to create overloads in the midfield. Now, their relentless pressing forces errors, and their fluid attack exploits defensive gaps. Now, if we're going to look at basically how Man City play, we are seeing more like a kind of like a hybrid 4-3-3, 3-2-4-1, where one of the defenders comes forward and plays as one of the holding defensive midfielders. And in this case, with Nico Williams present for them, if John Stones is playing, John Stones becomes that one defender. And then they use a flat back four sometimes, and then they also use a wing back, but in Guardiola, who plays as a left back and also as a center back. Now, we're going to just be drawing comparisons with their last game, using that to draw up what the potential starting lineup for Man City would be. But I think that they're going to change because they rested a couple of players because of this game. And now for Man City's predicted starting lineup, we're going to go with Ederson in net, Diaz, Vardiol, O'Reilly, and Mateus Nunez. Nunez playing on the right side. They could change it up. We never know, but who cares? Then they have Gundogan and Nico Gonzalez in the mid as a holding. And then they played in that last game, and we're going to use that as in the 4-2-3-1 with Jack Grealish, Doku, and Savinho. Now, Savinho can also, you know, switch sides. But seeing as Mamouche, the other winger who was supposed to play on the left side, is now going to be on in the striker position. Because if we look at it for City, with their team injuries, team news and injuries, City will be without Erling Haaland, which is also good. But then we have to deal with the pace of Umar Mamouche. Now, Erling Haaland is sidelined for 5 to 7 weeks with an ankle injury. And then other absentees, as always, includes Rodri, Stones, Nathan Ake, and Manuel Akanji. Well, Guardiola rotated his squad midweek. I mean, resting key players like De Bruyne, who is also going to come back into the lineup. That Bernardo Silva, who's also potentially going to come back into the lineup if Grealish is on the bench. And then we have Phil Foden, who also comes in to play on either side of the striking or plays as a false nine. We know Guardiola to be one who likes to tinker a lot. Now, for key players for Manchester United, keep them for Manchester City. Key players for Manchester City includes Omar Mamouche, who has played 38 games to date, 2,855 minutes. He scored 26 goals. He's assisted 13 in all competitions, including from his former club, Frankfurt, to basically Manchester City, right? So, and he scored in the last two games for City. 2-1 win against 2-0 win against Leicester and 2-1 win against Bournemouth. So he's in hot scoring form. He's 26 years of age and all of that. So it is something for us to kind of think about and worry. But yeah, I wouldn't be worried. I just believe that we need to just take care of his pace because he relies on his pace. Other key players to watch for Man City include Phil Foden, a key playmaker capable of breaking through compact defensive. Like I said, for Omar Mamouche, he's a January signing, a good bargain for them. Well, will I say a good bargain depending on how much he was signed? But he stepped up in Haaland's absence, scoring in back-to-back games. Right now, Jack Grealish, Nico Williams, Ilka Gundogan are also going to be key players in that squad with Rodri injured, and City's midfield balance, might be tested because Nico Williams hasn't really maybe adjusted or adapted to the Premier League, but we never know. Let's see as we go. But he's been playing well for Man City. He's been playing well. And then for Manchester United, how Manchester United play is pretty straightforward as we always talk about. Under Amorim, United deploy an intense possession-based system with quick transitions. Now, we primarily operate in a 3-4-3 formation, shifting into a 4-2-3-1 against high-pressing opponents, as Onana acts as a sweeper keeper, or is supposed to be acting as a sweeper keeper, facilitating build-up play with midfield overloads and underlapping runs, creating attacking openings. Now, defensively, United transition into a compact 5-2-3 pressing, aggressively to force play wide, before engaging in a coordinated, in coordinated traps for against the opponent. So it is something that we need to look at and, just see that currently Ruben Amorim's system seems to be working. Now, for key players to for predicted lineup. Now we're going to go with predicted lineup for Manchester United. And I'm still going to go with the last lineup I went with. Predicted lineup for Manchester United. Andrew Onana in net. Harry Maguire is back from injury, so back in the lineup. Matthias de Ligt on the right side to deal with the pace of Doku and Mamouche if Mamouche switches to the other side. Lenny Yoro on the left side. He played well on the left in the last game, so he's going to come back in the lineup. And then we move Nusa Mazarawi up top to one of the wing backs and Dogo as well on the left side of the wing back to deal with the pace of Savinho and Cole. And then in midfield, we want to control the game, so we go with Bruno Fernandes and Manuel Ugarte. And then in attack, we still go with Garnacho, even though most fans wouldn't want him to be in the lineup, but we have no one else. other than with the pace and all of that. So Garnacho and Xerxes. I wouldn't be surprised if Ruben Amorim tries to start Mount in this one, but I'm sure he's going to try to manage the load. And this is just basically off more like a guess. So Garnacho, Xerxes, and then we go with Haaland starting up top. Let me know your thoughts and feelings about the starting lineup. Do you think that some players need to be dropped, like Garnacho and all of that? Let me know in the comment section. Now, with key players to watch for Manchester United, key players to watch. One key player to watch, as I always go for the last couple of weeks now, is Bruno Fernandes. Now, Bruno Fernandes has, he's been United's creative hub, dictating the tempo of the game and unlocking defenses. That is his way of play. And then we also have Joshua Zirkzee. He will be good in the technical aspect of, you know, holding the ball up, passing the ball, switching plays, and all of that, control in the midfield to deal with Ilko Gundogan and Nico Williams if they're pressing on him. And that is why I believe that because he can work with tight spaces and all of that, then we will be able to use Jota Zirkzee. But for Bruno Fernandes, played 45 games, 3,639 minutes. He scored 16 goals and 15 assists. That is 31 goal involvements in 45 games. That is sick for the 30-year-old Portuguese international. He hasn't scored in the last 3 games, obviously, 3 games, including the game against Nottingham Forest, the 2 Portuguese games, and then before that, he scored against Leicester City and provided 2 assists. So other key players to watch, Matthias de Ligt, as I said, Lenny Yoro, Patrick Dogu, their defensive pillars, and Harry Maguire as well. Especially with Lisandro Martinez being out, obviously out till January next year, and all of that. Rasmus Højlund also, his powerful presence in attack to engage the defense of Man City is key, capable of pushing City's defensive lapses and basically running behind the line if they press up. With team news and injuries, just for kind of like team updates, we will get that in. We'll get more an advanced one in the pre-match press conference. Yeah, pre-match press conference. But for team news, Lenny Euro um, is return to the starting lineup in the loss to Forest. Maguire made substitute appearances and pushed for starting spots. Johnny Evans, Eden Heaven, Kobe Menu, Amad Diallo are still regaining fitness, while Lisandro Martinez is out for the season as always. Hoyland is expected to start as United look to secure a league double over City. Mazraoui, Bruno Fernandes have showcased tactical flexibility under Ruben Amorim, providing United with crucial adaptability. Now, the reason why I went for Bruno Fernandes in the midfield as we review the lineup, the reason why I went with Bruno Fernandes in the mid is because of that control, that speed, that energy. Same thing with Manuel Ugarte. He seems to shine in big games. That is why I went with that. So I'm going to go straight to how Manchester United can beat Man City. I always come up with 4 points as to how Manchester United can beat Man City. Number one, basically, how much to overcome Man City, Manchester United must be disciplined while exploiting vulnerabilities. Here are 4 key strategies that I have listed out that Man United can target in order to, win the game against City and do a double. First, target City's high line. With City pressing or playing a high defensive line, Garnacho and Bruno, as well as the wing backs in Mazraoui and Dogu, can exploit the spaces behind their fullbacks, as always. And then also, number 2, win the midfield battle. City always thrive in possession, but Bruno Fernandes and Manuel Ugarte must press aggressively to disrupt the rhythm. Also, pressing from the front is also key, especially with the strength of Joshua Zirkzee and the pace of Alejandro Garnacho. It's just that if Garnacho can make good decisions and pass the ball, to his opponent or pass the ball to Joshua Zirkzee to create space behind the line, then he can have space, obviously, over the defense of Manchester City. Now, number 3 is to capitalize on set pieces. Even though we've been really poor in, scoring set pieces this season, if we can capitalize on set pieces, City have shown, obviously, occasional weaknesses defending set pieces. Maguire, Højlund, in their era prowess can be decisive in creating chances. I mean, in the last game, Maguire could have scored the opportunity he had. Even Dalot could have scored the opportunity he had against Forest, where he hit the crossbar. So, same thing. Now, we also need to be defensively disciplined. United must maintain a compact shape, avoiding reckless challenges and preventing City's creative players from finding gaps. And that is the way I said time and time and again that if you wanted to stop City from scoring, stop the source of the goals. If they start with De Bruyne, obviously you're going to have to block the pathway in which De Bruyne passes the ball to players like Mamouche and the flying wingers like Doku and Jeremy Doku and Co. So it's very key for Man United to ensure that we are defensively disciplined and must maintain a compact shape, avoiding reckless challenges and preventing City's creative players from finding gaps. I mean, if you look at Man City's lineup, their weakness in that lineup is Ruben Diaz. If we can capitalize on Ruben Diaz, it's very key for it's very important that I mean it's also very possible that we're going to also win the game. So this derby is actually a litmus test for Ruben Amorim, basically to test his mettle, to test his ability to show up and to also test our progress under Ruben Amorim. A well-executed game plan, tactical discipline, and clinical finishing can tilt the odds in Man United's favor. With City weakened in injuries as Rodri is injured, United have an opportunity to seize the moment and claim a memorable victory in Old Trafford. Basically, a victory at Old Trafford will be very, 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 very good to be able to kind of wipe off the tears of the lost and not known for it. So let me know your thoughts and feelings about that. What are your predicted score lines? What are your predicted lineups? Is there anybody that you think that should start the game that's on the that is on the bench and all of that? Because most definitely Amorim seems to like missing Mount. And I saw a news recently, I mean today, that Man United will do everything possible to keep missing out. I don't know why. He's always injured, but they're going to try and work on his fitness. And I know Amorim is all about working on people's fitnesses and also managing the load and all of that. And I also expect that Chido Obi also might make the bench. You never know. Well, it was interesting and it was great to see Sekou Kone on the bench for Manchester United. So let me know your thoughts and feelings. For me, I will predict a very tight 1-0 victory at Old Trafford. It's going to be hard. It's going to be difficult to work through that, but a very tight 1-0 victory for Man United at Old Trafford would be a good way to cap the weekend up and go into the Europa League with great momentum. Let me know your thoughts and feelings. Let me know your predictions for the game, and I will see you on the next one. Take care, goodbye, and God bless.